What does that have to
I
do?
mean, we cannot even. So, for example, the deities. If you just somebody comes and destroy it, we treat deity as itself, Krishna itself, right? We don't date.
Yeah, but if you're in a foreign country, you have to understand what their culture is. So you have Hindus living in a Muslim country. So you have to adapt to it. So you have to understand Islam. Islam is absolutely rejects deities. It's considered haram.
Yes.
So why force the issue? You can worship the mantra Hare Krishna or you can worship Bhagavad Gita. It's the same thing as worshiping a deity.
Correct.
You can do arti, you can do everything, but you're doing it now to the Bhagavad Gita, or you're doing it, which is what they do. They worship the Bible. I mean the
Quran.
Quran. So why force the issue when you know what the culture is and you're outnumbered? Yeah, before when there's maybe 50-50 or 60-40, you might, they might have been able to get away with that. But now most Hindus have left Bangladesh. So therefore, they're in a big time minority. Therefore, they have to adapt.
So that's what the guy was asking question, right? They were outnumbered, as you mentioned. Yes, outnumbered people always dominate. But they are outnumbered and becoming outnumbered everywhere. Slowly, they outnumber in UK. They are outnumbered in some of the European countries, France. Now they are doing this in India. They already in
Well,
Bangladesh,
then the
Pakistan.
Indians should stop going to Europe and the United States and stay in their country and have children. And why'd you come here? Why don't you stay in your country? You know, that's the fault of the Hindus. They're
91% of Bangladesh is Muslim.
Now, but now
7% is only Hindus.
you are talking about the current situation. I'm not that become like this. It was not
because they didn't adapt to the culture. You see, the Muslims, you don't understand Islam. They're never going to accept deities. Never.
Yes, Maharaj, you are right. I'm not arguing on that. That I'm trying to pose that question. What that person. So if I mean,
What
I believe
person
it.
we
I
talking?
believe it.
What person? Where's that person?
Huh?
What person you
He
talking?
comes to temple also.
What did he say?
He was saying that these are the things happening. Where is Krishna? Why is not stopping all this nonsense?
Because this person, why doesn't he go get a gun and go to Bangladesh and protect the temple there? Why is he just talking? No, you can't. The fighting is not going to be the solution. The solution is you have to understand their culture. Their culture says you cannot worship a deity. It's anathema. In other words, it's a sin, and they're not going to change because it's in the Quran. So therefore, you don't have deities. You can worship Bhagavad Gita. They worship Quran. We can worship Bhagavad Gita. They won't say anything.
That is, we are assuming, Maharaj. It might be not true. So we
What?
are assuming that they won't have problem with worshipping Bhagavad Gita. We are assuming that.
Well, try it, then we'll find out. But as long as you worship deities, they're not going to accept it. You're not going to accept it. And as long as you have parades down the streets and everything, then they're not going to accept it. Parades with deities, they're not going to accept it. They're in the majority.
There was an attack on ISKCON Chittagong in 2009.
Yeah.
In Bangladesh. In 2015, ISKCON Temple Dinajpur in Bangladesh was attacked by Muslim Bangladesh terrorists.
Yeah.
And 2016, ISKCON Silhet in Bangladesh was attacked by Muslims, and at least 10 people were injured in that attack. And then in 2018, Rath Yatra organized by ISKCON Dhaka in Bangladesh was attacked by a group of people, leaving 6 devotees injured.
Yeah, that's like the dumbest thing you can do.
Yeah.
To have Rath Yatra, with your deities and everything,
An Ansar al-Islam group planned an attack on ISKCON Temple Dhaka, but police arrested them. In 2021, during Navami, October 15th, a Muslim mob attacked the ISKCON Temple in Noakhali, Bangladesh, and killed 2 2 devotees.
Killed 2 devotees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time there is a lot of people, at least few devotees getting injured, and the recent 2021 attack.
But no, that's not only that, they're going to bomb the temple. They're going to burn it down. You see?
Yeah. I mean, it is
Gallery
not,
destroying, yeah.
this is not new. This has been happening.
Yeah. So see, the leaders there, they just don't understand what to do. They think the government's going to protect them. Government, it's still a Muslim government, right? They're not going to protect the devotees. They'll give some lip service.
They are not.
They have to take down the deities, don't have any deities. You just worship the Bhagavad Gita. Then it won't be such a, let's say, issue with the Muslims.
But Maharaj, they were not destroying only deities. In even the Muslim attacks on India or Bharat, they were destroying the temples itself altogether, everything. They had attacked temple. Somnath temple been attacked by 18 times by.
Get rid of the deities. Stop worship. The deities should be Bhagavad Gita. You'll see it, then it'll stop. And they should dress like Muslims. And they should also, celebrate Muslim, festivals. Then you'll see it'll all stop. They're worshiping one book, we're worshiping one book. That's it. We can go and worship their book also.
It's hard to do this, Maharaj, because.
Why? Why is it hard?
Isn't
Isn't it harder to see your people? Isn't it harder to see your people leave and harder to see your people convert? That's harder. It's harder to adjust. I mean, it's easier to adjust.
Yesterday when we read the 4th chapter, 24th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, all the Shastra is telling is, as long as you do activities in Krishna consciousness, you are doing the same thing as per Shastra. So what Maharaj is saying is that based on time, place, and circumstance, you adapt so that you don't create conflict. But you still doing the worship. You're doing a worship of the book because they accept book, like Maharaj's own experience. He talked about when he had a conversation with a Muslim person. But that was only because there was a rational argument. Maharaj's experience is that if we worship a book, because they worship the book, the chances of, I mean, it's not like overnight thing, right? But it is a process, or it is an adaptation of our worship to the appropriate Muslim culture. And at the same time, don't be separated. Maharaj is also saying, let's also worship, just like we do here, Krishnamas, like we celebrate our July 4th. We go and we worship, and we are also putting our booths there. And I mean, it's not like, oh, this is our side and this is your side, right? Because we can Krishnaize.
You have to go to their programs
also. And
Eid and all this thing.
Yeah.
Not Eid, but Ramadan, things like that.
You don't eat meat, you don't, I mean, but you can still bridge the gap. And over time, they don't feel like it's.
They won't want to get rid of you. Right now, they want to get rid. They're going to empty all the few Bangladeshi devotees, ISKCON temples. They're all going to be wiped out soon. They're not going to be.
They will wipe out everybody on this planet, Maharaj. That's what I'm saying.
No, you don't. No, look, you don't have to. If you just adopt to their somewhat to things that they don't object to. They object to deities. That's 100%. It's in the Quran. Whatever's in the Quran, you can't go against it.
They are not against only Hindus. They are against Christian also. They are wiping out Europe. They have nothing to do with deities.
Don't mix it all up now. We're just talking about Bangladesh. Now you're going to talk about Europe. Europe is another problem. But in Bangladesh, they were living together peacefully for a long time, right? But there's always been some, flare-ups. But it's getting worse now because there's what is it?
There's also the political aspect here, right, Maharaj? Because she came to India.
Who?
The ex-prime minister, like
Yeah.
What's her name? What's her name?
Hasina.
Hasina.
Yeah.
So, and then India gave asylum.
Yeah.
So I think that's also causing
agreement.
She came here from where?
from Bangladesh, because when the riots
Yeah.
happened, she
Yes.
needed to run away to save herself.
Okay.
And then she landed in India. Because she landed in India and
India
India gave
asylum.
asylum.
Yeah.
So now they're anti-India.
Oh, okay.
And that's means like anti-India means anti-Hindu.
Yeah.
And that's how, I mean, at one point, he's also true that it's not like there's, right now the emotions are so high that they're going to be so agitated that they don't do the discrimination of what is right, what is wrong, because they're just like anything that,
Yeah. Just
They can get-
fanatics.
yeah.
So just to tell you, Mataji, the 1940, the population was 28% Hindu. Now it is less than 8%.
And it's
The
going to
same
be
true
zero
for-
pretty soon. It's going to
Yeah.
be zero.
And that's zero in next 30 years.
Even before that.
Before that. And same for
Well, you
Pakistan.
say, you know how it's going to happen? They're going to have you're going to have a massacre,
Genocide. Genocide.
Yeah, that's what.
and the police won't be able to do anything. The government won't be able to do it. Because otherwise the fanatic Muslims will go after the police.
This is what exactly happened now, because police were denying to
Protect anybody.
protect
Yeah.
anybody. They are not, I mean, due to.
They're also
of the
Muslim. They're also
people.
Muslims.
Yeah.
And the other Muslims know where they
Yeah.
live. They know their family. You know, so they'll start attacking them.
Yeah. That's why she has to flee, because even her police are not obeying her. Actually, that's the problem.
Well, I don't know. Then that's a political thing, but for the Hindus that are in these, majority Muslim countries, they have to understand that deities are never going to be accepted by the Muslims. Never. Therefore, and it's not, you're not violating your religion by worshiping the Bhagavad Gita.
So that's again, yes. so
And
this
you could put Bhagavad Gita and Quran together and worship it.
That's even better.
That's even better. You see, you could even hire an imam.
Maharaj, that's when if we want to live in that country and still continue preaching
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, everybody never listens to what I say. I mean, I've been talking about this for a long time, not just to you, but to the GBC. They don't listen to what I say. And this is what happens, and you jeopardize the lives of devotees. It was the same thing happened in Russia. I kept telling the GBC people, I said, look, you are trying to, the Russians also told the devotees that, look, just practice your religion in your house.
Secret.
Don't try and cultivate people outside. Don't try to have, parades and things like that, and we'll leave you alone. No, they didn't listen.
So what was Prabhupada's stance that time, Maharaj? Because
And some
Prabhupada,
devotees died. Some devotees died.
Prabhupada might have spread all over the place, right? I mean, might not, he had, right? So what was his opinion about all those things?
I don't know. I don't know.
But Prabhupada also got an opportunity to only talk to one devotee when he landed in Russia, right? Who became
It became a devotee,
devotee, and then now.
and spread the movement. Yeah.
Prabhupada didn't do any public speeches.
Yeah, you have to understand the culture of the country that you're in and don't violate anything and adapt to it. Then you probably won't have any problems. But if you're adamant, then this is what happens, because it's their country that, you're outnumbered, 100 to 1. So what can you do? You can't, you're not going to win, you're going to lose. Eventually they'll just massacre you. Then there won't be any Hindus. And that's happened in places.
Yeah.
It
In
happened
India,
to
it's happening.
it happened to the Armenians. They were massacred. 1.5 million Armenians are massacred, by the Turks. So best thing is to understand the culture.
But Maharaj, there are so many examples in the past history. We should, learn. So for example, there are gurus, Sikh gurus, right? So one of the fourth guru, I remember when it was Aurangzeb's time. So he came and he said all the Kashmiri Pandits that okay, either you convert or we kill everybody. So he did. They everybody approached him, and he went. I forgot the name of that guru, and he went as a representative to Aurangzeb and said that okay, uh, if you can make me Muslim, then everybody will be become Muslim. And then he couldn't. He couldn't. Then actually there are four associate of him. They literally with cruelty they killed one with the with the like hot bars on his eyes, and up there is
Well, that's what the Muslims do. That's how
Yeah,
they
so
win the
they-
argument.
they killed. But he didn't. He didn't. So he said that.
So he was a martyr.
So he when they said that okay, if you are not still not trying to convert, we will kill you. Then fine, you kill me. But while I am praying, you kill me. So he just did, and they just cut off his head.
Okay,
So
so
that's what.
so
but
guess
they-
who won? Guess
but
who
they
won the
couldn't-
argument?
They couldn't convert in Hindu. Same thing like Shiva.
Yeah, but
Maharaj.
well, completely unnecessary. Anyway, what good did it do? He got his head cut off. Are you willing to go now? Go back to Bangladesh,
So now-
get a gun, and fight against the Muslims there? You know, you're not
Yeah.
going to do that.
So that's the question that guy asked. Like we say in Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya grande bhavati bharata. So where is Krishna? If this is happening, why is not protecting us?
Because the Hindu leaders in Bangladesh don't understand what to do. They're not being, they should listen to what I say. I'm giving you a solution, a very simple solution, you see. But see, now it's much more fanaticized, you know, because the Hindus just, you know, every time there's, you know, they beat people up, then they burn down houses and temples. But pretty soon there's going to be massacre. That's because they're only 8%, right? It's very easy for them to just wipe them out completely. And that's what's going to happen next.
I mean, Hasina has been in good ties with India, Maharaj. So that's why at least that 8% survived in that country.
Yeah.
But now that
The
Hasina
8% I'm talking about 2010. I'm not sure about the current.
even now,
Yeah, it's
But
almost
now-
15 years now.
like no longer in the, she fled the country, right? So either the militants will take over the rule or some Muslim party will take over the, I mean, extremist Muslim party will.
They're
take
already
over.
taking
Yeah.
over. They already took over.
So.
No,
Plus
but
they-
I want Prabhu to get a gun and go there and protect the Hindus there. You can take, you know, like 50 people with you. Everybody has a gun. You live up in the mountains, and then you come down and ambush the Muslims, and then go back up into the mountain.
Maharaj, that one question, should Hindus even reside in a country like that, fearing for their life
If they
day in, day out?
if they do something that's completely forbidden in the Quran, they shouldn't live there, or they have to adapt to it. So instead of worshiping the deity, they should worship the Bhagavad Gita. They can put the Quran next to the Bhagavad Gita also. That's even better. They worship
Yeah,
both
that might
Quran,
save them.
huh?
That might save them. If they put the
Yeah, of
Quran.
course. And you have to dress like a Muslim also. Then they can't even figure out who you are, you know. They think they're one of you, and they come to your temple and they see the Quran, and then they see the Bhagavad Gita. They won't say anything. Haribol. They should pay me to, you know, give them a strategy.
That ego that comes up, Maharaj, which doesn't allow people to change.
It's a very simple solution. Very simple solution.
Not a change, it is adapting.
Yeah, well, it's not purposely doing something that is anathema for the Muslim. They're never going to accept deities, never.
So
Because
that's
it's in the Quran. It's in the, if it wasn't in the Quran, maybe. But the Quran definitely says you cannot worship the deities.
correct. So that is the tendency of the
Look
Hindu.
it up. Look it up. Make sure I'm
Yeah,
saying
I
it.
think it rejects that Allah has any form. So
They prefer to be killed rather than adopting. So
Who,
many
the
examples.
Hindus?
Hindus, yeah.
Then you're not going to have any Hindus left.
That's the so many examples. That's the great people did. We learn their history and we've grown up by learning their history as a part of our history.
Not in school.
In schools, yeah.
You learn the history of the Muslims in school.
Some of them we learn Shivaji Maharaj, this is son Sambhaji Maharaj, at least in Maharashtra, um,
In school, they're teaching
Yeah.
about Shivaji.
Yeah.
And the
no, that is only if you are Kshatriya. So we mix up everything and then we are like, trying to take example. If you're a Kshatriya, you have right for that kingdom. Yeah, you can protect. And that's what he did. But how can we who are not Kshatriyas,
right now
fight
there is no
against?
Kshatriya, right?
Yeah, but
As
do
you
the
said,
Muslim
Shudra.
kids in school in Maharashtra learn about the
Yeah. If they are in school, yes. But there are Urdu
no,
medium
do they
schools.
teach it? Do they teach it first of all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they are in Hindu school, I mean the normal schools, which is local language or something, or they have to learn this history. Well, history is common for all the state, whichever the state, like Maharashtra, it is common.
But they don't teach it in the Muslim schools.
They don't teach probably in a Muslim school
Yeah.
because that is different. The syllabus is different, the curriculum is different. Same like for Christian schools, like there are convent schools where they
So you should go back to India and start a movement of throwing all the Muslims out of your state.
that is what RSS and these guys are doing, Maharaj. So Rashtriya and so many people, there are so many movements already. So, but
They
people,
need you, probably. They need you. You're too safe here,
there are always two
You can be a
opinions.
martyr. You can be a martyr.
There is always two opinions. Maharaj,
What's
like,
the name of martyr? A shahid. You can do shahid.
correct. So there were always two opinions, like Jahal and Mawar. So we call it as like one group was like don't want to protest, don't want to this, take everything silently. Some people were like aggressive, like Lokmanya Tilak, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Madan Lal Dhingra, all those things. Like they are very aggressive. They don't want Gandhiji is the other side. There are always a two group ever, right? So in the freedom fighting also.
Yeah.
So now also there
Well,
are
pretty soon
two
it's gonna be
mentality,
too
the
late
leftist
because
and right. Leftist,
pretty late, pretty soon because there'll be more Muslims than Hindus. You should have done it when you were, 80-20. 80-20, you could have wiped them out. Forced them all to go to Bangladesh and to Pakistan. Now it's going to be harder. And then you have this crazy constitution where everybody's. You should change the constitution and then throw all the Muslims out. And if they don't want to leave, then you fight. You could still do it now. It'd be harder, but you could have done it much easier years ago.
so you don't have freedom to even do our Hindu. There's only one country left where Hindu people can stay quietly. I mean,
Where's India?
India, yeah, and they're also now 25% Muslims. So all shortly, like maybe under 20-30 years, there may be 50%.
That's why I say you should go back to India and you should be, a leader there and start a revolution. Throw India for Indians, Bharat for Bharatiyas.
There are people already doing that.
Hindu people in India don't want to call themselves Hindus. That is another issue because of Mayavadi philosophy.
Wow.
They don't even want to identify themselves as Hindu.
Well, first you work with the Hindus.
Yeah.
You see,
But
there was
Hindus are
a-
not united.
there was this
Yeah,
Armenian
yeah.
general, and he said the only mistake I made was not killing Armenians. He said if I killed Armenians, we would have won the war. So the point was, those people that are wishy-washy, and we're not, gung ho about, fighting and protecting and things like, they should have been killed. And it's not a lot of people, but there's some people like that. And then, in other words, that's a fifth column in your army. The ones that don't want to fight, so forth. Yeah, of course, of course. Anyway, now we're getting to this is very political, right? Not exactly. But as far as Krishna consciousness goes, you can worship the Bhagavad Gita just like the Muslims worship the Quran.
Worship the holy names.
You can worship the holy name. Then you would not have a problem. And don't go out in the street, just remain very let's say non not
Confrontation.
not non-confrontational. Yep. They don't have leaders. That's the thing. Their leaders are bad. They're not really thinking about, how can we protect our people? When you're outnumbered,
Yeah, there is no leader even what can do. The main leader itself is a jeopardy. Like they can save their own life and they have to flee. What about the other normal
yeah, there you
leaders?
go. There you go. That lady fled. Right?
Yeah, she has to flee. She's the top, I mean, the prime minister of the country, and she's Muslim, and she has to flee for her own life. So, what to talk about others?
Bangladesh.
Yeah,
Bangladesh, what?
founder of the
Founder of
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh country. Earlier it was East Pakistan.
Uh,
So he fought with the Pakistan and then he established Bangladesh as an independent country.
okay.
And he is called the father of the Bangladesh.
Father of Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And they destroyed all his statues all over the place.
When? After she left?
After, yeah, now.
Yeah, last
Because,
2 days.
and he's the founder, and they were like, she won 4 times consecutively the election. 4 times she is ruling consecutively, like last 20 years. And this is what happens with her. She has to run for his life.
Apparently, I mean, there is negative things about her, but also she's the one who improved the economy of that country. Earlier, they were one of the poorest country in the entire world, looking for arms from other countries. But she improved the economic status of the country, and she improved many other things.
Right.
She focused on those things, and they just don't like her.
They had good relations with.
Well, don't like her because of political things or because she's harboring non Muslim.
Geopolitically, also she had established nice ties with other countries.
Yeah.
So I think the extremist Muslims, they don't like her.
Oh, okay.
And they took the student movement. This is part of a student movement, but behind the scene, a lot of other, all over the like Pakistan, ISI, and all those things are involved. And then they got it.
Well, pretty soon, India's going to be surrounded by Muslims.
It is already surrounded, like Pakistan, Afghanistan. There is China on the north, and then here Bangladesh is the only country which was friendly with India, the neighboring country. Rest of all the countries it has tiffs. I mean, it has problems with. But now Bangladesh also with Hasina gone. I think Bangladesh also will be an enemy for this.
That's dangerous. Almost surrounded. You'll have to go, everybody, all the Hindus have to go to Ceylon.
Yeah, there is a saying that you can choose your friends, but you cannot choose your neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even surrounded by Muslims, Maharaj.
Big problem. Big problem.
And they keep entering the country.
Keep coming into the country. Yeah. Well, that's their, they have like a 50-year plan.
They keep converting people.
And they convert the Hindu girls.
Yes.
They force them into marriage. Yeah, terrible.
Really unfortunate.
Pretty soon you won't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
It'll be too late. There has to be a fight. You know, politics never succeeds without war. You have to decide, okay, this is it. We're going to go to war. You know,
That's why
it's
the
not
current
nice,
government-
but yeah.
That's why current government is very strict about all those things. That's why Modi is good. But not all states supports Modi. Only North Indian states, South Indian 4 states, nobody, I mean not nobody, but they don't give vote to Modi. Very few people.
Because those states are all Christian states.
All 4 states, not other. Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Those people don't vote.
No, but
Why? Because he's a North Indian or what?
Yeah, only North Indians vote BJP, but some of them. But
Well-
South Indian doesn't vote
Well, why? Why?
because they don't affiliate with them, the BJP party, because it's not prominent in this South India. They give just to regional local people, local parties.
Andhra Pradesh has good ties with, is an alliance now, right?
But still, not allies, but
Mhm.
so anyway, people don't support. So who is doing good? Even the Indian people doesn't support. The Hindus doesn't support. That's the problem, and they are responsible for their whatever happens. Anyway,
You're not chanting Hare Krishna enough. Hare Krishna. No problem. Okay, well, I guess that was our class today. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're over time. We didn't solve the problem.
But we can discuss some tangible solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one is if you're living in a Muslim country, then you have to adapt the cultures. They could simultaneously worship the Bhagavad Gita with the Quran. Then the Muslims would get confused, you know, they would say, oh, you're Muslim, you know. If you just worship Bhagavad Gita, you probably get away with that also, but it would be even better to worship Bhagavad Gita and the Quran at the same time.
so is it something?
And there's validation to do that. I mean, Prabhupada says that the Quran is also bona fide. Look that up.
Yeah.
He says,
Is the
Quran is.
Prabhupada.
But we can ask Krishna's help, right? For helping out in this situation by praying Krishna,
yes, you can do that.
Can we chant?
Of course.
right?
Yeah, you can do that. Are they praying to Krishna there?
At least the ISKCON temple people might be praying.
Hmm.
I hope.
Well, look what happened to him.
Yeah, so that's what that destroys the faith of the people who are on the boundary lines or not has complete faith.
If they didn't have deities, this wouldn't happen. It's their leaders, it's not leaders, they don't understand. What's it say?
So this is ChatGPT's rephrasing, but what it says is that Srila Prabhupada recognized the Quran as a bona fide scripture
There you are.
following the Islamic tradition. He respected the Quran as a genuine holy text and acknowledged that it contains the words of God as understood by Muslims. Prabhupada
That's understood.
often emphasizes the importance of understanding and respecting different religious traditions, recognizing that they all aim to connect individuals with the Supreme. However, Prabhupada also stressed that the ultimate goal is to develop pure love of God, and he believed that the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam provide the most direct and complete path to achieving that goal. He encouraged followers to respect all genuine religious practices while remaining committed to their own path of Krishna consciousness.
While remaining committed to their own path.
It depends. If you're in a dangerous country and you're outnumbered,
But at home, you can have whatever you want to do. But public places of worship, you probably should adopt.
well, first of all, you should not have any deities. That's number one in Muslim country. And secondly,
Even at home, you're saying?
No, home is different.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
This is in
Yeah.
a temple.
Temple, yeah,
And
public.
secondly, you could have, in the Bible, Bhagavad Gita, but you could have Quran next to it.
But even at the home, you won't be allowed to do because there's a lot of cases will happen, right? In the Kashmir, what happened? They killed all Kashmiri Pandits. They have to run, leaving everything, and just with own clothes and ran away. This thing happens. Even Bangladesh, this thing will happen. All Hindus, they will have to run with their own clothes.
Then,
So you are not
then they should
free to do
adapt.
just at your
Then
home.
they should adapt. They should get rid of those things that
The
are.
only choice for them, Maharaj, is to adopt Muslim.
No, not necessarily.
Because as long as they know this is Hindu,
No, there's
something
certain
happens,
things
they'll
that the
attack.
Muslims cannot tolerate. You understand? You just get rid of those things, such as deities. You change the deity from a deity of Krishna to the Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Krishna. You see, and they're worshiping a book. We can also worship a book.
Yeah, but that
And many Hindus
enmity is always
living in majority Muslim areas, they dress like Muslims. Well, they're Hindu, but they dress like Muslims, and they go to Muslim festivals and things like that. They have friends. They invite them to their house, and the Muslims invite them to their house, things like that. They've learned to adapt to living like that.
they're talking all Bengali only. They're Bangladesh, they talk Bengali language, which Prabhupada's language.
Yeah.
They all talk Prabhupada language.
Yeah.
But the culture also same, except their religion different. But still this happens, right? They're speaking same language what Prabhupada used to speak.
Because the Hindus are doing something that is considered
Forbidden.
haram.
Forbidden.
Haram in Islam. They're worshiping deities. Get rid of the deities. You still have deities, but it's the Quran. Then there'd be less, let's say, criticism. You're not. Look it up. You're not allowed in Islam. You're not allowed to worship a deity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quran rejects the worship of deities other than Allah.
Yeah, but Allah, there's no picture of Allah.
Allah.
And there's no picture of anything else except there's some little thing on the wall that shows you where Makkah is. So they have to face that when they pray. But there's no pictures of human beings in the mosque.
So Maharaj, that raises the question why this uncivilized population is growing so much, which is making everybody's life miserable.
Prabhuji, not
on this
every
planet.
Muslim is also bad, right? There are good Muslims also. Devout Muslims who don't harm others.
Very few. You cannot generalize this because if you have 90% Muslim bad, 10%. I have so many examples when during childhood. They live in India, they eat Indian food, they everything in India, but they always favor Pakistan. The one of the leader, OAC, right, from your state, Andhra Pradesh, right, Hyderabad, OAC.
So Andra's fault.
Yeah. He goes when there is an election, when Modi government, they for taking the oath. So there's a tradition that you have to follow some rules and say something like for taking the oath when in the parliament when new government started working.
He does it on the
So
Quran.
he did that. No, he didn't do Quran, but he said even in the Indian parliament, he said he has problems to say Jai Bharat or Jai Hind,
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind or Jai Bharat. He has problem to say that. But forget about Hind, Jai Bharat. So he has problem to say that. But he took a oath saying Jai Palestine. So you are in India.
Pakistan?
Palestine. They call Philistine. So they call it Philistine. So Palestine. Jai Palestine. What has to do with Palestine when you are a political leader in India, living in India? What has to do with Palestine here? If you are going in a,
no, but you see, he was smart.
yeah,
He didn't say Jai,
Jai Hindustan, or no, he doesn't want to say that.
no, he didn't want to say
He
that.
openly said that I'm not going to say Jai Hindustan or Jai Bharat. So openly said and challenged everybody.
Yeah, but he didn't want to say Jai Pakistan. So
He
said-
didn't say that because that's common, but he said Palestine. What has to do with the Palestine? Like, as if
No, no,
somebody
but he was just being, what you would call,
yeah, necessary.
he was trying to avoid a big controversy. So
Yeah.
instead of saying Jai
Pakistan,
Pakistan, he
yeah.
said Jai Palestine, which is the same thing almost.
Even the small cricket match, I know my friend actually, he used to be very happy when the Pakistan match wins. So these small things, incidents, right? Even if you are like Indian, as an Indian national, you still have some
The
activity.
main thing is this whole bodily identification.
Yeah, I
The
know.
Hindus have it, the Muslims have it. So if you separate yourself from bodily identification, then people would get along with each other. But no, Jai Hind, what is that? That's material bodily identification.
Yeah.
So the Hindus are making a mistake because their leaders don't really understand what is the right way to do things, and the Muslims are making a mistake. You're basing everything on bodily identification. Yeah. You should go back to India and become a pundit.
No, our
Teach them how to, get along with each other.
our
By the way,
Vasudeva
nobody's going back to India to do that.
we always say Vasudeva Kutumbakam. So our is part of our culture, your culture, right? We treat our Vasudha as our Kutumba. But if somebody is not behaving nicely, we cannot say, okay, you slap my this. Okay,
cheek,
I open
now
the
you
other one
give
and
the other
slap
cheek.
the other one.
That's Christianity. That's
No,
Jesus
that's the
Christ.
Gandhi. That's the Gandhi.
Gandhi also.
Gandhi's
No, but he got that from the Christians.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So
Look
that's
it up.
not
Look
going
it
to
up.
work.
Haribol, I know it's a long discussion about what to do in Bangladesh.
there and
If you
anybody has
are
comments.
living in a country dominated by different culture, how to adapt. So Maharaj suggestions and then
I say you have to
debate by
adapt.
Pradyumna Prabhuji.
What's that?
No, let's ask anybody
Debate
has
by
any other
Pradyumna
opinion.
Prabhuji and Maharaj suggestion. Any questions or comments? This is obviously somewhat controversial topic. So any thoughts or comments? If not, we'll regroup in the morning. I do not see any raised hands. We'll wrap it up.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, Maharaj, for explaining. So it's
You
really
wanna-
great to know what you're.
You want to spank your husband?
He will always have some argumentations, Maharaj. But thank you so much for your thoughts on this, because it's not just them, right? I mean, it can happen to any of us in the future, in the life, right? You never know what situation we lie into. So it's really great to know what you think about it and how to right get around complex problems like this. So yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna. You have to understand the majority culture where you're living. And specifically now in Bangladesh, there may only be 8% of the population is Hindu. And that's going to probably diminish now even more until there's no Hindus left. So it's not going to change unless somebody comes up with a way to make the Hindus and the Muslims live together. Again, they used to live together before.
Yeah.
So the Hindus would have to definitely stop worshiping deities and have temples with deities. But they can worship the the Bhagavad Gita, and they could also put the Quran next to the Bhagavad Gita. That's my solution, and it's free. I'm not charging anything, and it wouldn't be wrong because Prabhupada even said, yeah. But as long as the Hindus have deities, and especially living in a place where it's like 90% Muslim, 10% Hindus, there's going to be problems. Because for the Muslims, they know, if we want to get rid of the Hindus, we could do it in 1 week. And we could destroy all their temples. Because for them, it's sacrilegious to have deities. So they want to have pure Islam. So the way they have pure Islam is by massacre.
Bangladesh is the largest Muslim country.
Really? In the
Yeah,
world?
in the world. It's highly populated.
More than India? I don't think so. They're more.
Muslim country, Muslim dominated country.
No, I think there's more Muslims in India than in.
What do you mean by largest?
That's what it said, largest Muslim country.
I mean, okay, that way. Basically, it's country claiming to be Muslim country.
Yeah.
It is the largest Muslim claimed country. Not not as in like, because in India it's not a Muslim country.
So
No, but India has more Muslims.
Yeah,
India definitely has more Muslims.
Indonesia is the largest as per my search.
What?
Mhm.
The
Population
largest
wise?
Muslim country in the world.
No, but population wise?
Yeah, 241.5 million Muslims.
Okay.
And per population.
All right.
Yeah, Indonesia.
Indonesia.
By the way, Indonesia was not invaded by the Muslims.
Yeah, everybody.
No. It was not invaded by the Muslims.
Really?
Indonesia was the Muslims used preaching.
Yeah, but that was not a Muslim country before, originally to begin with. I think. It was
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
No,
was
but there was no war in Indonesia. The Muslims just preached and made the whole population, almost the whole population, Muslim. You can look that up.
Fastest growing religion in the world today is Islam.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. It's only few years.
It's a fact. They're gonna try and make America Islam also.
That might be that's why some of the Krishna's plan for having this also all this, because we say that it's Krishna's plan to have more Muslim people. And
No, it's Krishna's plan in this way. As long as Hindus and Christians don't follow their religions properly, this is what happens. You see. So they're eating meat, they're gambling, all those things, and they still call themselves Christians. So what's the difference? At least the Muslims don't eat meat. Oh no, I'm sorry, they do eat meat, but they don't take liquor. They don't have liquor, right? And they pray 5 times a day.
Yeah.
The Christians hardly pray once a week.
yeah, they are very religious in that. Okay.
Yeah. So
They leave the meeting, Maharaj, in the office. They said, "Okay, I have to
What?
do mass."
oh yeah, they have
They
they get
don't
those.
care about work. My time is over. Go pray.
Yeah.
They're very strict and particular about it.
Well, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Bangladesh, Indonesia, Maharaj,
Yeah.
highest Muslim population. Next is India,
Oh, okay.
Pakistan, Bangladesh.
Wow. Well, India is going to be surrounded.
Yes. China is also one big.
There are a lot of Muslims in China, but the Chinese are really suppressing them, seriously, tearing down mosques. They don't want that population to increase. Haribol. Well, you got to give it to the Muslims. You know, they're good preachers. No.
I think the extremists are the problem, Maharaj. They are the ones who are actually spreading it and using it for wrong.
Maybe, yeah, but like Indonesia, there were no extremists. It was by preaching that they convict. Yeah. Anyway, we will remain Krishna conscious.
So Maharaj, this is where Krishna consciousness is beyond country,
Yes,
religion, color,
yes.
gender,
Body.
body.
Let's hope it stays that way. One time, this Muslim boy joined our temple, and he was here, when his mother found out she was in Pakistan, said, "If you don't come back immediately, I'm going to commit suicide."
Really?
Oh yeah, she said it.
Wow.
And he got really riled up. You know, he was really worried because she would do it. She would actually do it. He knew that she would actually do it. They had to leave. Went back to Pakistan. I mean, we didn't tell him don't go back,
Yeah, maybe can't tell.
you know, but
That's how serious it is for them.
yeah, definitely. But somebody else, who was that? Somebody else said that to someone, a relative or someone, and he said, "Okay, well, can I help you to commit suicide?" Yeah, I'm not kidding you. I'll help you. So you want me to drive you to a bridge and you jump off, or I can even help by pushing you. He called the bluff. But this one boy is a very nice boy. He became a devotee, and the mother found out. She called him several times, and she said, "You know, if you don't come back right away, I'm going to commit suicide." And he had to go back because he knew she would do that. So they're very fanatical. And he never came back.
Yeah.
What they did, probably, he had to go back and they probably got him married right away. And, you know,
Continue in his faith. Maharaj, so I see what Prajna Prabhu is like, or concerned about it, like when they are so aggressively moving forward and wiping out everybody. What is the solution, Maharaj? There is no solution to this thing.
solution is preaching.
We preach.
Yeah. And become much more serious about, you know, following the rules and regulations. Yeah. And not being fanatical. What's wrong with, you know, you could put a Bhagavad Gita instead of the deity. You could put the Quran next to the Bhagavad Gita also. And I don't think there would be a problem if you did that. You know. In fact, you might be able to not convert Muslims, but have Muslims come, you know, into the temple. Yeah. Haribol.